Studios.
Welcome back to Laughing in the Dark, the podcast where I hang out in haunted places with comedians. I'm your host, Sara Jones. For this episode, I got to hang out with Chicago comic Aaron Klopfer. Aaron Klopfer is a desperate man living in Chicago. Aaron and I got to visit the Red Lion Pub in Lincoln Park. This was such a magnificent pub and I had such a great time here. As always, be sure to check out the Instagram for pictures that go along with this episode. You can find us with the handle @LitDarkPodcast. Here's the episode. I hope you have some fun.
Before I forget, should I give a little tidbit about the bar I know? Or like, this is my person. Are we recording now?
Yeah, we're recording.
So it was a trip when I saw Colin, because I remember like, I
Colin, the owner.
Yeah, the owner.
Yeah.
Who you, I don't know if I'm allowed to reveal what you said earlier about him.
Yeah, you can.
But who supposedly like reads people like in the psychic sense, but like,
yeah, he's a psychic.
I drunkenly wandered in here one night after like a date that didn't go so great. And then I got a girl's number here after the bad date. That nothing happened with that, but like, so I remember Colin. He was just being like a sweet grandfather like type figure or like uncle dude.
How so?
He was just kind of like telling me really specific things about comedy. He was just trying to show he was interested, and whatnot. He was almost trying to not be like a wingman for me, but just be like a nice person, like almost like, yeah, let's get these two young people to fuck. Let's just kind of like,
yeah. You didn't fuck her?
No. But he was like a cool cat.
Nice.
So all that came back to me when I saw him walk in here.
That's right. Yeah, because for listeners, like right when we walked in, I had already met the owner, so I knew who he was. And I come in with Klopfer, and the owner just goes, "Oh, hey." And Aaron goes, "Oh, what's up, dude?" And you guys kind of like, you clearly had a thing.
Which is flattering because he's probably seen like a lot of dudes with like beards and glasses. I've only seen like one person who looks like he belongs in like a bookstore, or like he's like kind of like an old school liberal kind of vibe. Mm-hmm. I'm not unique. He's unique. So to me, it was flattering that he remembered me.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, I was like, how do you guys know each other? So we are at the Red Lion Pub on Chicago's North Side. It's an English pub in Lincoln Park. How would you describe this place personally?
It feels, there's a charm to it. Mm-hmm. It feels like how you think like Teddy Roosevelt would live if he was still alive today.
Okay.
It feels like if you're Teddy Roosevelt, this is where you want to drink and argue about eugenics, whatever Teddy Roosevelt was into. I don't know.
Yeah. There's like an entire painting of the British flag. What is that? The British flag?
Oh yeah. The Austin Powers flag.
The flag you may have seen in the hit comedy Austin Powers.
Yeah.
With Mike Myers. That's the one. Yeah, we're American. What the fuck do we know? But yeah, so it's a British pub, an English pub. I guess British and English are two different things.
I think.
Yeah, because England versus Britain.
I don't know.
It is.
I think, okay.
Yeah,
I'm not
it's a
arguing that
British
they're
pub.
different, but I feel like aren't British and English pubs like interchangeable? Like it's kind of...
So British is English. English is not just British. Because there's England, right? And Great Britain is a part of England.
Mm-hmm. That's my face isn't saying you're wrong. I'm just saying like just words are stupid sometimes.
You're like, I'm just dumb. Yeah, no.
I'm not dumb. The language is dumb.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
you're like, there's not a U in color.
I am dumb. Stupid. I am very dumb, but this specific.
But not in this instance.
This specific, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the Red Lion Pub on Chicago's North Side is an English pub in Lincoln Park. While it's not as old as most haunted places we might visit on this show, it certainly has that vibe. Chicago's Red Lion Pub only dates back to the early 1980s, and yet it has still gained a reputation as one of the most haunted restaurants in Chicago. 5 years ago, the Red Lion Pub was rebuilt in its old spot, directly across from the historic Biograph Theater in Lincoln Park. Not sure where you've heard of the Biograph Theater before? Let me help you out with that. Do you know about the Biograph Theater?
No.
Okay, well, guess what? The Biograph Theater is famous for being the movie theater where notorious bank robber John Dillinger was shot down by FBI agents back in 1934.
Bad boy.
It's directly right there. The theater was designed as a Chicago landmark on March 28th of 2001 and is listed on the National Register of Historic Places.
Wow.
The theater across the street still boasts its original Biograph Theater marquee, but now goes by Victory Gardens Theater. Originally, the Biograph was a movie theater, but now shows live productions. It is directly across the street from the Red Lion Pub, so if you're looking for dinner and a show in the heart of Chicago, and you're fascinated by the morbid history of both of these places, and why wouldn't you be, this is your place to go.
Just what I'm thinking about right now is it's cool that this is like historically haunted or morbid or whatever, because like I associate this neighborhood with two things.
Okay.
Walking around here after I bomb, because there's an open mic here I love a lot, but it's not particularly forgiving.
Okay.
So for me, it's just like this is where I just walk around and have existential
dread.
Existential, just questioning everything.
Yeah.
And I just love the idea of like, oh, this is like there's like there's history all around you.
There is, absolutely.
Podcast-worthy history.
Literally.
And it's also where sometimes you go on dates here because it's like this is where all the nice rich girls live.
Oh, in Lincoln Park?
Around here, or not like rich, just like girls who don't want to be like a dirty Logan Square hipster and whatnot.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting is like I've done a couple episodes now in Lincoln Park, and this has been my favorite part of Chicago on this visit.
Interesting.
So I might be that bitch.
Well, because it's like culturally cool, but you're not seeing people like ride around like on their fucking fixed gears like that means anything, you know? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like filthy hipster. It's just kind of like
better than you.
It's more of like an individual kind of place.
Yeah.
Like, you'll spend an extra couple $100 in rent, but like, yeah.
I guess I get that because like I've been writing all day and I've been at coffee shops all through Lincoln Park, and I love this part of Chicago. Like, if I lived in Chicago, I think I'd want to live in Lincoln Park. Also, just what I forget because I live here is, like, if you look around, there's a lot of bricks. It's just, like, you could feel old Chicago here. Mm-hmm. You look around, you're like, oh, this is, like, you could tell, like, Europeans immigrated here and built something really cool. Yeah, totally.
And the street's really goofy and diagonal.
Yeah.
So it's just, like, it's a little bit, like, I don't know, it's cool.
It's that feeling of, like, history happened here. Mm-hmm. So when the proprietor, Colin Cordwell, who we've spoken to multiple times, what?
Yeah. No, just like the way you go back into it made me laugh.
Sorry.
No, you did nothing wrong.
I have to jump back into that story. So Colin, the owner, who we both know, when he bought this place, he wanted to retain the same feeling of the original Red Lion Pub and just add a bit of a modern twist. He kept the dark oak planked bar and added bookshelves throughout lined with books about British history and literature. And that, I mean, we can see. It's like being in a giant library.
Yeah.
This gives the place a feeling like you've walked into your father's study to have a drink. And it's possibly the warmest and most welcoming feeling I've ever had walking into a new bar in an unfamiliar city.
I can attest to that.
Yeah. I had the benefit of writing this script after I visited this place. Mm-hmm. So it definitely was. And when I visited, it was on like a random afternoon, and I was able to walk in here and kind of get my own feeling of being here. And it really does. It feels like you're in your dad's study. It's like a giant version of your dad's study. If your dad, my dad didn't even have a study, but it's the idea of a dad's study.
Well, I mean, like it feels like a Gentile study. I don't know, like this is like a Jew kind of vibe. But
okay.
Like, it's welcoming and warm.
Exactly. Yeah, totally. It's you've got like the bookshelves and like kind of the older lamps and the wood barristers and everything about. Wait, is barristers a word?
Sure.
Okay,
I don't know, man.
Okay, like there's wood and shit, like. Mm-hmm. But it literally does feel like if you imagine that you grew up in an old, like, rich mansion mm-hmm. and your dad had a study, this is what it would look like. Only it would probably be a lot smaller.
It feels like whatever people romanticize about, like, like that old Reddit thing where, like, you see the guy with, like, the fisticuff hands is, like, the manly art of so-and-so.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like the non-pretentious version of that.
Yeah,
it's like whatever.
Exactly.
It's like that weird dude on Reddit who goes on about straight razors to shave, whatever. Like, whatever weird dude who's like a fedora at heart, like romanticizes like old school manliness. I feel like this is it.
Exactly.
This is palatable. Man, this is like classy testosterone.
Yeah, this is literally your rich uncle's study. Yeah. That's what it is. That's what it really is. In my life. I don't know about you. But for me, that's what it is. Because it's like, I've been drinking vodka sodas since I've been here, but you feel like you should be drinking like a bourbon straight.
It's very whiskey soul here.
Yeah, totally. Like, that's the vibe here, for sure.
If you knock a certain way on the counter, like, they'll give you a cigar. That is
yes! Oh my God, exactly. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay, so, all right. But to say all of that, it is in a way that is very like welcoming, like you're actually at home. Like it feels very, very welcoming. This place is in many ways dedicated to Cordwell's family. The books on the shelves are from his own personal collection of British history. Cordwell doesn't like to refer to himself as the owner, but rather as the guardian of this precious pub. Among the several items in the pub honoring Cordwell's family, a wall is dedicated to his late father, John Cordwell, telling the story of how, during his service in World War II, he acted as a forge and aided in the famed Great Escape, a mass escape attempted from a prisoner of war camp. So he was a POW. The second floor balcony, where we're sitting, of the Red Lion Pub is named the Africa Room, in honor of Cordwell's mother, Justine, an African studies scholar. So that's where we're hanging out. I don't see Africa stuff, do you? Oh, wait. That's a map of Africa right there.
There we go.
Just kidding.
See if there's anything else.
Look at this thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of geography stuff on the walls.
Yes.
Okay, we got that bad boy in the corner.
We got that map of Africa. We got that map of Africa. We got that map of Africa.
It's a flat screen, maybe African brand.
That's your standard African flat screen up there.
Old insignia.
To watch your African games.
Yeah. Oh, that's just racist. I mean, they watch other stuff there, too.
It's not racist. There's African studies.
You're canceled.
I've been canceled since before I started. All right. So she was an African studies scholar. So this whole area is dedicated to her. While the front room, actually the room right below us, is the war room dedicated to Cordwell's grandfather, Robert, a World War I veteran who survived multiple gunshot wounds in an attempt on his life with a bayonet.
What?
This guy was dope. Actually, Colin, who we know, his dad and grandfather were both dope. Like, they're both veterans that have done crazy shit in the war.
If you see this dude walk, if you see Colin walk, like we saw him park his car and walk in, I didn't recognize him first. He looked like he carried a family history in his blood.
And he sure fucking does.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not just Cordwell's family stories that these walls can tell. Before this place was renovated by Colin Cordwell's father, the renowned Chicago architect John Cordwell, it was a dingy bar called Dirty Dan's Western Saloon. My boy, Dirty Dan. I say dingy to be polite. From the sources I read, it sounds like this was a complete shithole. It was a Western-style saloon for the city's less savory, boasting a flourishing bookie business upstairs, heavily involved in illegal gambling. In fact, it was rumored to be the only establishment where the rats died from food poisoning.
Such a good history dad joke.
But like true.
Oh man.
John Cordwell bought the place with a vision of a traditional English pub, and together, he and his sons built the Lincoln Park gem that we are sitting in tonight. There are so many ghosts rumored to be at this English pub, it makes my head spin. Some of these ghosts seem to be left behind from the Wild West days of the old dingy saloon, where others are much newer. This is an interesting point that I want to make, because so often it seems to me that people who are trying to debunk the whole idea of ghost stories, they're possessed by the idea that all ghosts are incredibly old. It's even used a lot as a way to debunk ghost stories in general. After all, people will point out, if ghosts are real, why are they always some lady in a white dress from the mid-1800s? Right?
It's spooky.
Not so. And the Red Lion Pub is a perfect example. This is something I get constantly because I have a show about ghosts. Mm-hmm. And I'm also an alcoholic. Mm-hmm. So I go to bars all the time. And every time I'm drinking at a bar, I'm promoting my show because what the fuck would you do? Mm-hmm. And every time I do, people are always talking to me about why, if ghosts are real, why are they always someone from forever ago in a white dress? Why don't you ever see a ghost text messaging? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's not true. There's a ton of stories about ghosts that are a lot more current. Mm-hmm. And I also get the thing of why are all the ghosts human? But I've totally done episodes where there's a ghost horse, a ghost dog, a ghost cat. Mm-hmm. I hear these stories and you're I personally believe in the paranormal, so for me, I'm this is why that's not true. But at the same time, go ahead.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Am I going to be the first person in the podcast to go ghost? Has anyone else done that?
No, and congratulations.
Okay.
You're the first one.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And two, sorry, this obviously this has just been in my head for 2 minutes, so I apologize for holding on to it.
No, yeah.
But I think there's something really funny about Western Saloon ghost, getting so mad that it got gentrified into a British pub. It's
okay.
It's all these crass dudes, and then it turns into all these fancy British folk, or
yeah.
So they must be pretty upset about all that.
They're history books. The fuck is this doing here?
Yeah, they were the old ghosts here were all into fingering and cards, and and all these nerds live here.
That makes sense. No wonder they're so fucking pissed. There are several spirits that call this cozy English pub their home. A popular spirit often witnessed here is that of a scruffy-looking cowboy, your guy.
Yeah.
This cowboy was witnessed by a psychic by the name of Sheila Bitely, who claims... What?
She could change her name. It's not helping her. That's her name.
That's just her name. It's Bitely.
Why?
You mean Sheila?
Yeah, Sheila. Come on,
Sheila?
Yeah, not a good name.
She claims to have seen an unshaven, ill-groomed apparition of a young man in Western clothes and cowboy boots walking through the upstairs dining room. Again, where we're sitting. Mm-hmm. There have been multiple accounts of people hearing this man walking, and his stride is described as the sound of clumping up the steps. sometimes just walking up the stairs to the second floor. And this, when I say it's described multiple accounts, it means I've seen it in multiple different sources where people are like, oh, there's a clumping sound of a cowboy. Like, so it's been experienced multiple times. 2 other male spirits are believed to have stayed here in the place that they died while involved in a vicious bar brawl. Mrs. Cordwell was endowed with psychic abilities, so...
And a fat dick.
Mrs.
I know, I slept 4 hours, I just continue.
You're right, I shouldn't have used the word endowed. The fuck was I thinking?
No, you're just having a podcast with a child.
It's okay, we're fine. So Mrs. Cordwell, I believe, is Colin's mom, who you just said has a huge dick.
Colin, if you listen to this later, I'm sorry. Your mother was wonderful, I'm sure.
Listen,
yeah.
I think Aaron's 86th.
Yeah, I had a good ride.
Anyway, yeah, so she's
if anyone who's
psychic.
younger, that means canceled for bars.
Yeah, younger or doesn't have experience working in or being a regular patron of a bar. Great. Great. So Mrs. Cordell has a huge dick. She also was a psychic. Using these abilities, she claimed to have seen a young male apparition with black hair and a beard wearing a black hat. She also saw a blonde, Slavic-appearing male apparition with a broad face. Using a Ouija board, which Colin warned me against, so... Using a Ouija board, Colin's mom discovered that the blonde man had an imposing anger issue and that he had murdered the black-bearded man in a fit of rage over a gambling debt. Probably back when it was like a dingy shithole saloon.
Yeah.
When Cordwell's son, either Colin or his brother, when he was in the downstairs bar one evening, he heard a deafening crash upstairs and went up to investigate. Nobody was up there, but a cricket bat that had been hanging on the wall as a display had apparently been thrown across the room. They attributed this either to the ill-tempered blonde man or, perhaps, the bearded fellow still frustrated and angry about how he met his demise here.
Oh, you're okay. For the viewer, sometimes when Sarah's done with the paragraph, she'll look at me and hopes I have something witty or interesting to say. And we've been okay. I've at least shown up to the plate the last few times, and I'm gonna sit this one out.
No, it's not that. It's actually the idea that I'm afraid I'm going to keep rattling things off when you have something to say. So I'm giving you an option.
Oh no, yeah.
To opt in.
This one I yield.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we do like a finger, and you're like, I have a point to make.
Okay. Well, also feel free to pause whenever if it feels intuitively right. But yeah, that one, your intuition was shit.
Thank you. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Everything's going swimmingly. All right. Similarly, when servers here are bringing food up to the second floor, again, where we're sitting for listeners, we're in the spooky spot is my point. When servers have brought food up here, they have sometimes had their trays knocked out of their hands while food flew across the room, as though someone had shoved it forcibly.
That's just rude.
It's rude.
Why are ghosts rude?
Because they want you to know that they're there.
Okay.
Sometimes when people come here and sit on the second floor...
Think, though. Sorry, just one thing.
No, see? My instinct is just shitty as hell.
Because, it's easier to be negative, and we know people like that who are alive. They'll act out.
They do.
Instead, you get... it's like you lash out instead of trying to do a good thing. You get more attention.
Right.
So we need to Dr. Phil these ghosts, man.
How many times do you think these ghosts have just moved a chair back, pushed something in, trying to be polite?
Yeah.
No one fucking notices them.
No one writes a fucking article about that.
No nobody gives a shit.
No one talks about the campfire.
But if you knock a tray out of someone's fucking hand, suddenly you're front page news.
Suddenly you're when the campfire is burning, you're talked about.
Yeah, and you're important.
You're important. You know who's not talking about the campfire? The ghost that validates you very quietly. It's like
exactly
whispers ghost shit. Like, you look nice today.
Yeah.
No, you never hear that.
No. If they're being helpful, maybe cleaning up a little bit. Maybe someone left a gum wrapper on the floor, and they're like, "I'll take care of it. You know what? I'm not doing anything better." Nobody fucking notices.
Fucking bad press is good press.
That's right. Any press is good press. Wait. And honestly, we should be more appreciative of the ghosts in our lives.
I agree.
Now that you bring this up, I think let's take a moment to reflect on how often other spirits have just kind of been solid dudes. And we didn't even notice because we're selfish pricks. We're selfish, mortal, living pricks. Cheers to that. I feel like we're making a breakthrough.
Yeah.
And I feel really good about it.
Let's make this a really positive ghost podcast.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
it is, but like without like the spooky. Okay, I'll shut up now.
We can be spooky, but also like considerate.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. That's the byline of the show.
Tell the story like in a sandwich. Like, you know when you tell someone a bad thing, you sandwich it like a good thing, bad thing, good thing.
You're like, good news, bad news, good news.
Yeah. Like,
hey, first of all, you look great. Mm-hmm. Second of all, maybe not so hot on this. Third of all, I like how you handled this.
First of all, I think it's great that you're an immortal spirit. Way to fucking spit in God's face.
Sure.
Second, I really don't like that you knock plates out of my hand.
Really inconvenient.
Third, like, I think it's pretty cool that you figured out how to live forever.
and hey, you were very proactive in letting me know that you were here. And I recognize you. I think your feelings are valid.
I liked hearing. I got too redundant with the immortality thing.
You gotta spice it up a little bit for these ghosts. They've been here a minute.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so sometimes when people come here and sit on the second floor, they can hear their names being called by male voices. So keep an ear out for that.
Just sounds like an open mic to me. Okay, I'll shut up for a little bit.
No, you're fine. Another entity often seen on the second floor is that of a woman dressed in fashionable clothing from the 1920s. I don't see her right now, but maybe she's around.
I don't see her.
It's believed that this woman has been involved with a volatile boyfriend who may have murdered her for flirting with other men. Mischievous in nature, this spirit is sometimes known to hold the ladies' restroom door shut on the second floor, sometimes leaving female patrons or workers trapped in the bathroom for 15 minutes or more until the door inexplicably pops open.
Caddy,
for sure. I should probably pee on this floor just to test out the theory. Sarah Jean McCarthy, a guest author for blog Chicago Now, worked at the Red Lion Pub one summer and speaks of several paranormal encounters she had with this playful spirit. She describes the vibe of the spirit as an invisible, slightly pesky, and totally creepy coworker who just really wanted some attention. We all know that guy. Sarah has experienced for herself several times the feelings of trays being ripped from her hands, propelling fish and chips halfway across the room. At the end of her shift, like at most restaurants, Sarah was required to put the chairs and bar stools on top of the tables and bar top so as to make it easy to clean the floor at night. Sarah describes one night while she was sitting at the bar top, enjoying her shift drink and counting her checkout, when she heard the sound of furniture being rearranged upstairs on the second floor. At first, she thought it must be another server rearranging furniture before she thought twice and realized she was supposed to be alone at the bar. Cautiously, Sarah proceeded up the stairs to the second floor, only to find chairs and stools pushed helter-skelter in the middle of the floor.
What's helter-skelter mean? Is that just fancy talk for it's moved around?
I think it's supposed to be like spooky.
Okay.
Helter Skelter, like it's not in order, like it's all wild.
Do you have like a spooky thesaurus when you're writing?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I just like lick my finger and like flip through the pages, like Helter Skelter. Oh, just spooky.
And just go on like a Scooby-Doo Wikipedia page, like I'll copy and paste that.
Yeah, I'm trying to read it, but I'm like running through hallways in hotels, like opening doors, and then villains are coming out of the other doors. And I'm like, ah.
Is that why you're
Helter Skelter?
For the people listening, Sarah's crumpling up a page that just says zoinks, zoinks, zoinks all over it.
All my notes are just feverishly written zoinks in pen all over the 7 pages worth of zoinks.
It's beautiful.
And then I'm just making up a story as I go. Like every time I put down a page, you're just like, that just says zoinks.
And just scapegoating menacing children.
What is she talking about?
If it wasn't for those menacing cucks. Okay, I'll shut up.
All right, so... All right, yeah, so chairs and stools. Helter Skelter. People are getting noxious. All right, so Sara described another terrifying occurrence that happened to a fellow bartender while she worked here. She said that she had heard this, her old coworker who was a bartender. He heard the sound of a woman shrieking hysterically coming from the second floor bathroom, which I think is right there. I think it's that door.
Oh, okay.
It's spooking me out already.
Yeah, there's some stuff going on there.
It's a spook. So he hears a woman shrieking hysterically in that second floor bathroom. Thinking that it must be a woman being locked in by the playful poltergeist that we talked about earlier, he went to the woman's bathroom door on the second floor to see if he could help. The bartender tried to calm the distressed woman down as well as he could, speaking firmly but soothingly through the door while trying to open it, as you do. The door remained solidly locked, no matter how he tried to force it. And the longer he tried to help the woman and open the door, the louder and more hysterical her screaming became. Finally, the bartender put his full weight into the door, trying to open it, when the door opened freely, crashing into the wall and pushing him, stumbling inside. The screaming stopped abruptly, and as he staggered back to his feet, he found nobody inside the bathroom. Creepy.
Yeah, I hate how easily, I'm so thin-skinned with ghost stories. I have no defense mechanism against getting scared or spooked out, you know?
Are you scared right now?
I'm not scared. It's just I get the heebie-jeebies. Not in the bath. It's kind of fun.
A little helter-skelter?
A
little helter-skelter.
A little helter-skelter.
Yeah.
A little zoinks and...
Little zoinks going on. Zoinks and donks over here.
Yeah.
Because you kind of straightened up, and I thought you were kind of like, are we almost done? But are you scared?
No, I'm not scared. It's just... good luck reading my body language because I'm tired, but I'm also excited to be here.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay,
and also
appreciate
a little bit drunk.
No, me too. I mean, always, but
I was in the suburbs all day, so don't worry about my body language.
Yeah, that sounds a lot more horrifying than being in a haunted place.
The Hoffman Estates is a lot worse than someone screaming in the bathroom.
Sure. Yeah. Agreed. Mm-hmm. I've never been there, but I've been to a suburb and woof.
That's I don't know. It spooks me out in a good way.
Good. Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. A former owner at one point attempted to renovate the apartments above the location. So, right above us, there were apartments.
Were not anymore?
They're there still, but they're used for storage.
Okay.
I'll get into it. Each time he would make a little bit of progress renovating the apartments, he would come back to find his work had been taken apart. Surrendering to the spirits, the apartments are now used simply for storage. Mm-hmm. A 21-year-old mentally challenged woman named Sharon is believed to have died in this pub when it was a pub. Not before, when it was the dingy piece of shit place it was before. In life, Sharon had difficulty wearing the appropriate amount of perfume unless someone was there to help her.
I'm guessing it was too much.
Yes.
When you say appropriate amount of perfume?
It was, yeah, she went, she was heavy-handed.
Yeah, okay. I've been there.
Sure, me too. Who hasn't? But I mean, I think I'm doing all right. But I don't need anyone to help me.
I won't associate with heavy-handed perfume. You're doing great.
Okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Moderately handed.
Yeah, you're like, you could even do with a little more. All right. So consequently, some who visit the second floor of the building smell an overwhelming lavender scent to indicate that Sharon is here to pay a visit. Do you smell lavender?
No.
I smoke cigarettes, so I don't smell shit. But like, do you?
No, I don't. I don't smell like any kind of like spooky lavender.
But lavender in general, no? You're like, oh, the only lavender I smell is lovely, but a little heavy.
I tell you what, I live in the area, or I don't live too far from here. I'll come by here every now and then. I'll sniff. I'll do my toucan Sam.
Yeah.
Stick and
get a Guinness, do your toucan Sam, and
I'll throw it in with my poem. I'll give a sniff report.
If you write a poem, I am going to petition that Colin posts it on the wall and frames it. All right, so another female who died in the pub suffered a fatal epileptic seizure, ultimately dying from suffocation as she was unable to breathe during the seizure. When some patrons walk in, they feel their throats constricting for a moment. This has been attributed to the female spirit trying to share with visitors how she died here.
That's, I mean, like, I'm not even trying to go for a bit, but, like, Chicago has a lot of old buildings. Sometimes you just breathe in some gnarly shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm on board.
You're like, oh, that's the asbestos.
Yeah, that's the asbestos. That's you're breathing in old fucking brick residue.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe there's fucking shrimp nearby, and you got.
Guess what? You're allergic to shellfish.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
I don't mean to poo-poo on it.
No.
It's weird. Like, I've been on board for everything, but like swollen throats, I'm like.
You're like, my throat didn't swell. Mm-hmm. So that's not validated. Mm-hmm. Bullshit. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Some people have experienced that. All right. So John Cordwell, Colin's father, who originally built the Red Lion pub, placed a gorgeous stained glass window over the stairway leading to the second floor. I'll show you it when we walk downstairs. With a memorial plaque beneath it. This is a dedication to his father, Colin's grandfather, an artist who has no headstone on his grave back home in England. But then Colin, when he took it over, gave a whole wall to his grandfather.
That's really cool.
The one who was almost killed by bullets, a bayonet.
Damn.
I don't know what ultimately got him. We'll have to ask Colin later. But like, not bullets or a bayonet.
Yeah.
That guy was a cat. He had 9 lives.
I think that's really cool and respectful, but I also like that's like in Chicago. So like some drunk Chicagoan does not. They're like they're like look at this fucking nerd wall. Like,
oh, there's a wall of nerds over here. Oh, books, stupid.
That is really cool though.
No, it is rad. Oh, so in life, John's father Robert had told him that he does plan to come back and visit him after he passes, because he stated simply, there is a spirit world.
The grandfather said that?
Yeah, Colin's grandfather.
The World War II one? Or the
World War One.
Goddamn.
Bayonet guy.
That's cool, because like, I feel like that generation is very like, Jesus will fucking come for you.
Yeah,
I don't associate
it
very much with like the occult, like there's different dimensions, and if you listen, you can hear them. You know, like I don't...
Yeah, but so Colin's grandfather told Colin's dad, when I die, I will come back and visit you.
Wow.
To put it into context.
Goddamn.
True to his word, John, Colin's dad, who originally built the Red Lion, and others have experienced a friendly tap on their shoulder when they visit the Red Lion pub. This is a greeting that they are sure is from Robert saying hello from the other side. John, Colin's dad, often fondly recalled feeling a strong presence of his father on the second floor. toward the end of his life, Robert experienced dizziness. And sometimes people feel this in the pub too, when he chooses to let the living know that he's around. This is often felt when people pass by the stained glass window. Or maybe they're just hammered. But maybe it's Robert. The Red Lion Pub was featured on Chicago's Best, where it earned the title of one of Chicago's best haunted restaurants. During their visit, host Brittany Payton was regaled with fearsome ghost stories and magic tricks. You can watch this online. While she enjoyed their signature dish, the Red Lion Pub's famous fish and chips. Which
is very nice.
Very nice.
Roses are red, fish and chips is very nice.
Oh, you're going to put your heart and soul into it. You're probably going to have to come back for a second plate.
I think so.
Just to make sure you're on the same track.
I think you're right.
I think I'm right. I mean, you don't have to, but maybe you ought to.
I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to the meditation retreat, 10 days of silence, fish and chips before, and fish and chips after, and silence in between. I'm going to meditate and just see what my heart says. Yeah,
absolutely. You're going to see what your aura reads about the fish and chips. And then you're going to find that it's transcendent, because what else are you going to get from it?
What if the fish and chips is how it's like the vehicle to the other world?
You're like, I tasted the fish and chips. I saw the eyes of God.
I saw the eyes of God. I saw the eyes of Colin's grandparents.
Grandparents. Not just his dad and grandpa, all the generations of his grandparents, all of them came into your line of vision, and you were like, we're one now. We're one now. And then Colin is a psychic, so he looked at you and he was like, I know. I already know.
I wonder if any of the Yelp or Google reviews for this pub has bartender is cool, but he told me about all of my family's death history. Really good fish and chips, reasonably priced whiskey, but then
what the fuck? How did he know about my dead sister?
How do you know that's how my sister went out? 4 stars.
4 out of 5.
Yeah. Really good food, really good drinks, but
real creeped out.
A little creeped out.
Yeah, for listeners, I don't even know if we delved into this, but when I first came into this bar, the owner looked at me and started talking to me about my dad, who is deceased, and started talking about things that only my dad knew. And I don't buy into most psychics, because I'm not a bullshitter and I don't like to be bullshitted. But I believed him. He really was giving me details that I was like, damn. So that's a thing. So his mom, it sounds like, was psychic. She passed on the gene.
Yeah.
And he's psychic, too. So that's what we're joking about.
Also, if you go to a bar now and they're not giving you cold readings, get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out.
Just drink at home then.
Yeah, because it's what are you paying for?
Mm-hmm.
You want to hear a story about this time that they met one celebrity that you barely even recognize? Who cares? This guy can tell you shit that you thought nobody knew.
Just fucking step it up, bartenders.
Sorry, go to the Red Lion Pub if you want a real experience, just saying. The Red Lion Pub is a place that you'll want to visit year-round, offering open-air dining in the summer and 3 roaring fireplaces in the winter. There's a private balcony room for groups of 10 to 20 people, tons of unique drafts, and a wide selection of single malts, bourbons, and ryes, and of course, plenty of ghosts to keep you company. Boom! We did it!
Yeah.
We did it, Sharon! We're here.
Sharon?
Hey!
Bitesy? Sharon Bitesy?
No, Sharon is the mentally challenged girl who died here.
Oh, shit.
You're thinking of the psychic with the...
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I supposed to fucking take notes? Am I supposed to write down every goddamn...
I did hours of research.
It would be insane if I did.
I know. Especially since I sent you an email that said, please don't look this story up before I come here.
Which is really nice as a podcast guest. Because you're just putting me being a dumbass as a requirement.
Listen, you're a comedian. I know you didn't finish college. Don't worry.
You're right.
You don't have to do any research.
You're right. I did not finish Oakton Community College in...
Oakland Community College?
Oakton in Skokie, Illinois.
I thought you were saying Oakland in Detroit. I was like, holy shit. Just kidding.
Dude, Oakland would make me so much more interesting if I had like Oakland history. Just Jewish suburb. That's it.
Oakland is not... You're thinking probably of Oakland, California. Mm-hmm. Oakland is outside of a suburb in Detroit also.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's another place that exists. But no, when guests come on my show, I'm like, don't do shit. Come hungry and thirsty. We're going to drink.
Yeah.
We're going to eat. And we're going to hang out. That's it. That's what my show is. It's supposed to be fun.
You delivered.
Thank you. Yeah, I tried to. It's meant to be fun. And I have had episodes where, like, the comic gets freaked out. And actually, you know Becky Bronstein?
Yes.
Okay, so my episode with her, she gets terrified. We were at the Lafayette Pioneer Cemetery in Lafayette, Oregon. It's like an hour or so outside of Portland.
Yeah.
Very old cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
And we're sitting there and she's freaking out. And I'm going through my notes about like this witch that's in the cemetery and like whatever. And she goes, what the fuck is wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And I was like, I don't know, this is just my shit. I like this shit.
I don't freak out from that. I freak out from
I like it.
Like stuff at work or like just daily social
Giving
stuff.
your phone number to a girl that you're working with.
Yeah, or giving my phone number to a girl I'm working with. I feel so bad about that. But like,
no, whatever, who cares? Life is short, you gotta die something.
What's up?
I said life is short, you gotta die something, who cares?
Yeah. It's all. It is what it is. She's
probably your future wife. Like, who knows?
Yeah, she fucking better be.
Like, I hope so, fuck.
I hope so. I may fool myself. Yeah, but I don't know, like, the ghost stuff it scares me, but like in a fun way.
Yeah, me too.
I don't like roller coasters. I don't like bungee
I love roller
jumping.
coasters.
But like, I like verbal roller coasters. I like, you know?
Of like, so anyway, boom, and it just goes into like, didn't see that coming.
Yeah, and like Bruce Willis was dead the whole time. Like, I like that shit.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I think all that stuff's really cool.
Yeah, I love ghosts, obviously. That's why I do the show. And when I experience paranormal things on the show, I love it. Like, I'm always like, oh my God, this one's real.
To me, I like it because I'm very, like, I go back and forth on it.
Yeah,
and
me
like,
too.
Like you, like, you got a dead family, I got dead family. It's just like, to me, I'm like, it's a battle between me being very like, no, it's all bullshit. One day your eyes are open and one day your eyes are shut, you know, like, and then it goes to like, well, what the fuck? What about that though? You know, like, so. Yeah. But for the most part, just once you're out, kind of wins the mental turf in my brain.
Okay.
But I like when any kind of territory of the occult is gained or a territory of the spiritual is like.
I do too. I do a similar thing.
It's short. Like to me, it's like temporary. It's like getting drunk. I'll get drunk off the idea of afterlife, and then like I wake up and I feel like shit, and it's gone. Like it's all bullshit. But so I enjoy these because it's like I feel intoxicated
by it. Yeah. Well, okay, I can relate to that too because I do a lot of times just think like, you know what? Like when I think about my dad. So I think like he was a great man. He's not here anymore. Whatever. And then other times I'm like, but maybe he is. Because like I feel like he was involved in this. I feel like this and that. Like I have a little bit of details where I'm like, I think my dad helped out with this, or I think this, or sometimes I'm like running late to work and I'm like, Daddy, like, because I'm the oldest daughter, so you want to be like, Daddy, will you fucking help me, please? Because I'm running late. We just get all the traffic out of the way. I just want to get there on time. I don't want to deal with the shit. And then it'll happen. Wow. And I'll park my car and I'll go, thanks, Dad. Like, trot inside. And other times I'm like, that's probably, maybe has nothing to do with that. And I just attribute it to him and whatever. But I do. I go back and forth on that. I do. I go back and forth. And it seems like the more logical thing is like, no, he's not. He's nowhere.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it feels like, but no, a part of me knows that he is, you know? And I don't know if it's just inside of me or if it's real. But like literally earlier today, I was driving and a song came on the radio about a dead dad. And it was about like the words of the song
Baby shark do 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 do.
My God, yeah, that's the one.
Oh, sorry, continue.
No. It was actually, I'll be fully honest. I've always been someone who says I listen to everything except for country. Mm-hmm. And on this trip, I had a 5-hour drive from Detroit, and I was like, I'm going to give country a shot. Mm-hmm. So I've been listening to country over the last 3 days.
Good for you.
Thank you.
I mean, there's a reason it's a fucking multi-billion-dollar, market. I'm making numbers up, but it sounds right.
You're like, literally, look it up.
One out of 1,000 songs gotta be fucking good,
And actually, now it's gotten to the point, because I was like, I am going to recognize songs on the country radio. I want to give myself a chance to like experience something that I didn't think I would like. So that's what I'm trying to do.
I don't know you well, but there's a passionate nerd energy. Not like an adoy kind of way, but like I'm gonna dive into this subject.
Yes, that's
I don't
me.
know you well, but I seem to get that from you.
That's very accurate. Yeah, very intuitive. Mm-hmm. So that's what it basically was. So I was like, all right. I always say that. I'm always like,
study country.
I'm like, all right. For listeners, I just pushed my glasses up.
It was good.
So I'm like, all right. I always say that. I've said that for most of my life. I listen to everything except for country. Death metal, classic rock, pop music, all of that. I listen to everything, not country. So I've been trying to explore it. There's this one popular country song that comes on that goes, I think it's called Even Though I'm Leaving. Mm-hmm. But it's like, even though I'm leaving, doesn't mean I'm not there, or something like that. And it's about this guy, his dad dies, and his dad is telling him on his deathbed, even though I'm leaving physically, it doesn't mean I'm not right there. I'm still going to be right there with you.
Yeah.
I'm always with you. So, if you're somewhere and you're missing me, just close your eyes and say a little prayer and think of me, and I'm always right there. Cool. And I thought about my dad, and I was like, oh, that's sweet. And then I looked up, and there was literally the name of a restaurant or something in Chicago. I was driving today, and a sign was, the name of the restaurant was Always There.
Oh, wow.
And I looked up and saw it, and I was like, oh my God. And again, probably totally a coincidence. And this is the battle you play with yourself, where you're like, was that my dad being like, it's real. You're thinking about me right now, listening to a song that's theme is I'm always there, and here's a sign here's your fucking sign right there.
To anyone who's never lost a parent who's listening is...
Buckle up.
But, you go through a phase where, that's for me, I don't have as many of those experiences anymore.
Yeah.
And I have two thoughts on that. One is maybe it's like a rationalization Band-Aid where you're trying to fill the hole, or maybe it's like a spiritual spare tire where you're existentially you're just kind of spiritually your soul's no, this is the Band-Aid we're going to use to get through these next couple years.
But either way, you see it as a Band-Aid.
Either way, there's a Band-Aid. There's a Band-Aid for you to put a meaningful pattern into it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's real, maybe it's not. But my first year or two, I saw a lot of those.
Yeah.
And this doesn't say it's going to go away for you.
Oh, yeah.
It's going away for me. Maybe I'm just a depressed fuck or whatever. But
yeah.
But
me too. But fine.
But I don't know. I feel like I had a lot of those experiences the first year, and it felt like in retrospect, it felt like you ever that thing you fill up a tire with when you have a flat tire. It's like that gel or something.
The air that the water or whatever.
The gel thing or something. It's some kind of gel. It's a shitty metaphor.
Okay, great.
But it's you fill up your tire with this gel, and it gets you to get to your tire change or whatever. That's how it felt for me. I would see all these beautiful things, and you sound like you're more spiritually in touch than me. Maybe that's just a muscle I'm neglecting or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I had these cool experiences for a while. I'm they're getting quieter now.
Maybe your dead parents are just forgetting about you.
I hope so.
I'm just kidding.
Maybe they're in Jewish Ghost Florida. Just kind of.
Yeah, they're just fuck them.
Fuck him. Yeah, let him figure it out. Like, let him work on his own shit. But one of my experiences I think you'll dig is when my mom died. I went to she had lung cancer.
Okay.
She smoked cool cigarettes, green soft pack. It was not the hard pack. It was like the soft pack. But like, so when she died, I went to her grave for the first time. And it was raining that day, and so I went to the thrift store to get an umbrella. And there's this umbrella I saw, I didn't like it, so I didn't check it out, but it was the first one that caught my eye. I was like, I don't like that color. Then I went to a couple other umbrellas that were all broken and shit. I went back to the other umbrella, and it was a green, cool cigarette umbrella.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, so that's the thing where, like, I know it sounds like I'm forcing, like that comfort Band-Aid, but like, it's just such a weird...
Coincidence.
A weird coincidence that I've never, ever... seen a cool cigarette umbrella.
Me neither. Yeah.
And just in the suburb, right next to the cemetery, it's a thrift store next to the cemetery.
Right.
I don't know. So like that's one of those things where it's like, whether that was a Band-Aid of me trying to force some kind of rationalization, or whether that was a real Band-Aid, like that was a cool fucking Band-Aid,
With a K.
With a K. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, no, but seriously, it's one of those things that I do that same thing where you go back and forth, like it's either real or I'm just trying to comfort myself. But either way, it doesn't matter. It feels good, So that's like kind of what I settle on, where I'm like, all right, well, it still feels good to think X, Y, Z.
I dig that, but I want to be that guy. I want to be that goofy, cerebral dude who's just kind of like, nah, man, it's real. Like with like the sure,
just being certain.
The sure eyes.
I would love to be certain about anything.
I'd like to be certain for once. But I want to be that weird dude who's like with the flowy cardigan who's just kind of like, nah, man, we're all fucking vibrations, bro.
Yeah. Oh, I have a peace sign tattooed on my wrist. I don't know if you see this. I've been that guy. I used to do a lot of mushrooms and acid.
If anyone's never hung out with Sarah, you're going to have a few times where she'll just something will come up in the conversation, she'll just point to a tattoo she has. And this is the second or third time it's happened.
What's the first? Oh, no, the first time was when the owner pointed out to me. Is that what you're talking about?
No, the back of your neck.
Oh, the back of my neck. Oh, yeah, that's right. You said perspective.
Yeah.
You know what's weird? Oh, for listeners, I have the word perspective on my neck. When we walked in, the owner said, hey, your tattoo. And remember I said he talked about my dad yesterday?
Yeah.
So I was waiting for him to be like, your dad loves it. Or like to say something, but he was like, that's awesome. He didn't say.
Yeah, I wait for shit like that too.
Yeah.
And I've gone to psychics and stuff and you want them to
but he did talk about my dad yesterday. So I was waiting for him to like elaborate on that. But
maybe you can relate to when you go to a psychic and like you want them to tell you something you want to hear about your parents, but it's not. You just get very much like you get their spark notes.
Yeah.
And you're like, but what about chapter 4? Like, do they love and forgive me? Or whatever,
And they're like,
oh, I don't know, but she's this or that,
They liked bass fishing.
Yeah,
you're like. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, oh fuck.
All right, here's $150.
Yep. There's my credit card.
Yeah. No, I saw a psychic when I was like 18. I went to San Francisco. My brother used to live there. Mm-hmm. And
more like San Francisco.
Yeah, I know. I went there when I was like, I wasn't 16. I was like 18. It was my freshman year of college, so I was like 18, 19. Mm-hmm. And my brother lived in San Francisco, my oldest brother. And my spring break, I was going to go to Florida with some friends. But the friends who wanted to do Molly and go see Girl Talk, this musician, those people weren't going anymore. And it was just going to be girls like drinking pina coladas like by a pool, and I was like, that sounds fucking boring. So I said to my brother, I go, hey, I know you're working, it's a week, can I stay on your couch? And he was like, yeah, that's cool. So I went to San Francisco. I was 18, I'd never been there before, and I just walked around the whole week. So I just smoked weed with strangers and like just did whatever. And oh, fuck, what were we talking about? There's a reason I brought this up.
Oh, fuck. God damn it.
No, there's totally a reason
Weed, couch.
Weed, couch.
Oh,
San Francisco.
psychic.
psychic.
Yeah.
That's what it was. All right, so I was like walking by a psychic like thing. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to go to the psychic. So I went there and I talked to her and she was clearly bullshitting me. And she was like, whatever. She finished her reading and she's like, well, you owe me like $80 or something. And I was like, $80? And she's like, well, that's how much the reading is. And I was like, but it doesn't say it anywhere. She's like, you owe me $80. You have to give me $80. And I was like, okay. And I went to hand her my debit card and she goes, no, I only take cash. But there's an ATM right there, but my brother's going to watch you. Like, we're going to watch you. I'm 18.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck. So I go to the ATM, I pull out $80, or maybe it was $60, something like that. But I know it was like multiple 20s. Because then I'm thinking, she's obviously a fraud. Like she was. Like nothing she said was like, it was bullshit.
All bullshit.
And so I wrote on I almost forgot this happened, but I wrote on the $20 bill something like, I see right through you. I know what you're doing. What you're doing is wrong. And like something like that. Like I was like, you know better than this or something like that. And I gave it to her. And I have no idea what ever happened to her. But I hope she felt guilty as shit.
I guarantee she didn't.
I hope you had so much fun exploring the Red Lion Pub with Aaron Klopfer and I. Colin Cordwell, the owner of the Red Lion Pub, has his own podcast that you might want to check out. It's called the Red Lion Pub Hub, and you can find it on YouTube or on their website at redlionchicago.com/podcast. Keep an eye out for videos and show dates from Aaron on social media. You can find him on Twitter with the handle @Aaron Klopfer. That's at AARONKLOPFER. On Facebook and YouTube, you can find him with the handle KlopTube. That's KLOPPTUBE. You can also find him on Instagram with the handle @Klopogram. And you betcha I'll spell it out for you. That's at KLOPPAGRAM. While you're at it, check us out on social media too. You can find us with the handle @LitDarkPodcast. Are you ready? That's at LITDARK Podcast. Or visit our website at litdarkpodcast.com to see what's new, check out our merch items, or just say hello using our Contact Us form. You know I love hearing from you. Special thanks for this episode goes to Colin Cordwell and Chris at the Red Lion Pub, my producer Randall Lawrence in Cranival Studios, Jonathan Cooper, my graphic designer, Sara Schneider, my manager, and of course, all of you for listening. I'll see you next week right here on Laughing in the Dark.
Sources used for episode 17 of Laughing in the Dark include the Chicago Tribune, Wikipedia, RedLionChicago.com, HauntedHouses.com, Chicago Now, and Chicago's Best.
Laughing in the Dark is brought to you in part by Heck Yeah Studio. Heck Yeah Studio is a creative effort working with people to create meaningful things. At Heck Yeah Studio, they work with clients to turn their ideas or existing brands into real or better versions. Heck Yeah Studio is the place to go for custom illustration for a full range of branding services, like killer logos, great colors and typography, and fun illustrations for pins, signs, prints, shirts, vehicles, posters, or anything you can imagine. At Heck Yeah Studio, they work with love. Their dream client is someone who is passionate about what they do. At Laughing in the Dark, Heck Yeah Studio has designed our logo, all of our merch, and any posters or stickers that we have. I am so proud and lucky to work with such an awesome company, and I could not recommend them higher.
Cranival Studios.